Hello, we're glad to have you join us on Nationwide, reaching you live on the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. I'm Ruth Aguela. President Muhammadu Buhari has described as frightening the looming demographic potential of the country between now and 2050, saying handouts from the so-called development partners can no longer help as solutions to the nation's problems lies within. He is, however, optimistic that with effective implementation of the next level agenda, his administration's 8 years will have laid the grounds for lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty, fundamentally shifting the country's trajectory and placing the nation amongst the world's greatest. The president was speaking at the opening of a 2-day presidential retreat for ministers designate preparatory to the inauguration of the Federal Executive Council. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the report.
The retreat is designed to prepare and sensitize the ministers designate on the status of policies, programs and projects of government and the roadmap towards the delivery of its priorities as encapsulated in the next level agenda. President Muhammadu Buhari, who congratulated the ministers designate, whom he said were chosen by the country above others, hopes that they will be in tune with their roles and responsibilities in the changing times as the nation's course is charted for a sustainable future.
By average estimates, our population is close to 200 million people today. By 2050, the United Nations estimates put Nigeria third globally, behind only India and China, with our projected population of 411 million people. This is a frightening prospect. Honorable Ministers designate, it is a great privilege for you to be called upon to serve in this great office of state, and you must grasp the chance with two hands and put in your best efforts, as Nigeria today needs top managers to handle our numerous challenges. There will be long hours, and you must be prepared to live laborious days if we are to serve our people optimally.
The president said they will also be expected to ensure that the agencies under their ministries are effective, efficient, and accountable in the discharge of their responsibilities as the government sustains efforts at securing the country, improving the economy, and fighting corruption.
We have rolled back the frontiers of terrorism. We are actively addressing other challenges, such as kidnapping, farmer-herder violence, improving the safety of our roads, railways, air traffic, and fire control capabilities. We are steadily turning the economy around through investment in agriculture, manufacturing, shoring up our foreign reserves, curbing inflation, improving the country's infrastructure. We have recovered hundreds of billions of stolen assets and are actively pursuing control measures to tackle leakages in public resources. We will not let up in fighting corruption.
Although the ministers designate were chosen to represent their states as a constitutional imperative, President Buhari, however, insists that it is vital for all of them to work as a team and, most importantly, as Nigerians. Convener of the retreat and secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, told the appointees that as the president's aides, their legacies will lie in how much support they have been able to give in the task of moving Nigeria to the next level, and not how much patronage extended to close associates and supporters.
This call to service requires all of us to fully share in the president's vision and agenda for our country. As members of the president's team, it behoves on us to join him in providing the leadership required to develop Nigeria and lift the bulk of its people out of poverty. You will be required to work to the high standards of integrity, discipline, and dedication that have been set by the President in his long career in the service of the country.
The SGF encouraged them to participate actively in sessions of the retreat, which he said will shape the way they will work over the next 4 years. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Mitari Ikpan reports that some of the ministers designate and other top government functionaries who spoke on the sidelines of the ongoing presidential retreat have expressed commitment to helping President Muhammadu Buhari deliver the next level in his social contract with Nigerians, saying it is a tax that cannot take for granted.
What I hope to contribute in the next level is to help towards strengthening the growth of the economy. Our economy has been growing consecutively for the past 8 quarters, but we need to increase the rate of growth, because as long as our economy is not growing at a rate higher than our population, then the impact of the work that we're doing will not be felt by the common Nigerian.
I think the President Muhammadu Buhari has set a very clear agenda for this administration and also for the country. He has kept faith in the past 4 years. As we roll into the 5th year, we see an attempt to consolidate and also build a lasting legacy for this country in very key areas. Security, that is making sure that security of life and property in this country is guaranteed, combating corruption and revitalizing the economy. And I think that will be the challenge of every minister that comes on board, to see how we make sure that what we do reinforces and coincides with these 3 key areas for the generality of Nigerians.
We're going to make sure that we support Mr. President to deliver on his mandate, to deliver on the dividends of democracy, to deliver on the promises made to Nigerians, and to move Nigeria and Nigerians to the next level.
And on judiciary, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has declined an ex parte motion seeking to stop President Muhammadu Buhari from swearing in the 43 ministerial nominees recently confirmed by the Nigerian Senate. Justice Taiwo, who delivered the ruling, said the applicants filed their motion out of time. Olabode Arewa reports.
Citing Section 14, Subsection 3 and Section 147 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, an indigene of Karo community in the Federal Capital Territory, Musa Babapanya, approached the court for an order to stop President Muhammadu Buhari from inaugurating his 43 ministers designate. The applicant is seeking compliance with a March 15, 2018 judgment of the Court of Appeal Abuja, which directed that an Abuja indigene should also be appointed as a minister of the Federation. Justice Taiwo reasoned that while the applicants had the fundamental right to file the motion, the court would not stop the minister's inauguration since they have already been screened by the Senate. Instead, Justice Taiwo directed Musa Babapanya to personally set the court processes on President Muhammadu Buhari and the Attorney General of the Federation.
My lord is of the opinion that it is better to put them on notice than to stop the inauguration and then have an expedited hearing of the matter.
No date was fixed for continuation of the suits. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
The presidency has described as incorrect the Financial Times report suggesting that Nigeria has placed restrictions on importation of food and other agricultural products. Malam Garba Shehu, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, in a later address to the editor of the Financial Times, dismissed the content of the article, describing as misleading. Garba Shehu emphasized that there is no ban or restriction on the importation of food items whatsoever by the federal government. He says President Buhari has consistently worked towards strengthening Nigerians' own industrial and agricultural base. The recent decision on Forex, Garba Shehu says the central bank will maintain its reserves to put to use, helping growth of domestic industry in 41 product sectors, rather than provide Forex for the imports of those products from overseas. The presidential aide further states that should importers of these items wish to source their Forex from non-government financial institutions and pay customs duty on those imports, they will be allowed to import. In another development, the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, has described as very unfair as well as unfortunate the attempt by some people to misrepresent President Buhari's comments on the non-utilization of foreign exchange for the importation of food into the country. Speaking to newsmen on the sidelines of the retreat for ministers designate, Mr. Emefiele said the president's directive is in the logic of the Apex Bank's foreign exchange policy management. This, he explained, started in 2016 with the ban on the importation of 41 food and non-food items into the country.
What we would say from the Central Bank of Nigeria is that this president has made this comment purely to strengthen the position of the Central Bank of Nigeria, to say, yes, he believes in what the Central Bank of Nigeria has been doing since 2016, and that there is a need for us to reinforce that going forward. And I would say that, to be honest, we would aggressively go more into the list of items that are being imported into the country and that we think can be produced in Nigeria. And we would, and I would like to stress that we would ensure that more of these items get onto the list of items that are going to be restricted from accessing foreign exchange in the Nigerian banking industry, not just from central bank source. Why should we be exporting jobs to another country? Today, we are complaining that there is a high rate of unemployment, leading to some extent the level of insecurity in the country. Why should we allow people to import food that can be produced in the country? We need to improve the wealth in our rural communities, and I'm saying we will not change course. We will even be more aggressive on this program.
And restriction on forex for food imports has continued to attract views from Nigerians who believe this will go a long way in making Nigerians look inward for food production, processing and manufacturing. Guests on NTA's flagship program, Good Morning Nigeria, say developing homegrown economy through agriculture will not only stabilize the economy but create jobs in addition to making Nigeria attain food sufficiency. Lydia Sampson reports.
Nigeria is endowed with agriculturally oriented space with vast arable land and rich in texture. It is believed that its potentials are yet to be fully harnessed, and these experts say with proper utilization, Nigeria has no business importing food and some consumables. The restriction on forex for food importation by President Muhammadu Buhari, they say, is a strategic move that would complement the Anchor Borrowers program and urge government to create special incentives for food processors and manufacturers.
The truth of the matter is the latest figure says that we spent more than 41 trillion naira in 20 years. The last 20 years, 41 trillion naira importing food into Nigeria. Now, that's what we've spent. In the last 30 months, thereabout, when the CBN started the policy of restricting access to foreign exchange for food, the CBN had also come out to say that over the last 21 months or thereabout, the monthly import bill for food had reduced from $660 million monthly to $150 million.
Before, I seen that it's more profitable by importing fast money, fast everything. So unless Nigerians that I know, or human beings I know, unless you make things to see, if they see this importer already progressing more than where he was before, many people will join. But when I continue complaining, crying, nobody cares. He can die, another person can die. Even that's before. Now CBN has changed a new rule.
Now what we have succeeded to do with rice can be done with other commodities. It can be done with wheat, it can be done with sorghum, it can be done with maize, it can be done with any other of the various commodities we have. Now the fact that we have challenges and the fact that some of those things are not working appropriately does not mean that we should not start this policy now. The policy, as announced by the President, will help in many respects. Most importantly, we believe this will improve, the pricing mechanism of the local products.
The guests who urged state governments to up their game in providing improved seeds as well as revamping of extension services reiterated the need for Nigerian farmers to take advantage of available schemes put in place by government to multiply output. They are unanimous that Nigeria has the potential to be among the best food producers in the world. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
In other news, reactions have continued to trail the attack on former Deputy President of the Senate, Ike Ekweremadu, in Nuremberg, Germany, by some members of the indigenous people of Biafra. Naja Atujichani reports.
The incident as contained in a press statement released by the media aide to Senator Ekweremadu, Uche Anichukwu, says the former Deputy President of the Senate was attacked during the second annual Cultural Festival and Convention organized by Enugu, Germany, in Nuremberg on Sunday, 18th August. A video which has now gone viral online shows the incident where Ike Ekweremadu was physically assaulted by a group of people who were being stopped by others as well. Senator Ekweremadu in the statement expressed disappointment but assured well-meaning Nigerians of his safety. Meanwhile, Senate President Ahmed Lawan has condemned the attack as barbaric, noting that it is wrong to blame him for the violent activities in his home state. He urges Nigerians to reflect before taking any measures. Similarly, Chairman Nigerians in Diaspora Commission Abike Dapiri-Erewa has condemned the attack as shameful and urges Nigerians to always bear the country's image in mind and project it in positive ways at all times. The People's Democratic Party has also issued a statement condemning the attack, describing it as unjustified. The President, Ohaneze Ndigbo, John Wodo, and other Nigerians, including Senator Eyinaya Abaribe and Senator Orji Uzokalu, have spoken against the attack and called for peace to prevail.
In the same vein, the All Progressives Congress has strongly condemned the attack on Senator Ike Ekweremadu, immediate past Deputy President of the Senate and serving senator, by members of the outlawed indigenous people of Biafra on Saturday in Nuremberg, Germany. The party, in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Lanre Issa Onilu, described those involved in the despicable actions and the organization they represent as unworthy in character. The statement added that the assault on Senator Ekweremadu was an indecent action, and it is below the acceptable standard of behavior expected of citizens, whether in Nigeria or abroad. Nigerians, the APC said, have a responsibility to collectively rise against evil at all times and in whatever guise it appears. Meanwhile, in Igbo, Germany, the umbrella apex union of all Igbo unions operating in the Federal Republic of Germany, are shocked and dismayed by the unprovoked, unwarranted and senseless attack leashed on Senator Ike Ekweremadu on 17th August 2019 in Nuremberg, Germany. A statement by the coordinator of the group, Ogi Ozofo, says the invitation of the former Deputy President of the Senate is part of efforts to encourage foreign investment and industrialization of Igbo land. The group wishes to offer its unequivocal apology to Senator Ike Ekweremadu for the unfortunate treatment misdirected at him by members of the indigenous people of Biafra in Germany. It described the incident as shocking, sad and shameful. The group also apologized to Ohaneze Ndigbo and to all remaining Igbo diasporan groups and associations both at home and abroad for this disgrace, as it also sincerely apologized to the National Assembly and indeed to the entire country for such an unwarranted assault on Senator Ike Ekweremadu. The group also calls for strengthening of unity among the Igbos both at home and in the diaspora. Let's now get an update on clash among tomato sellers. This and more you'll get with Michael Olaleye in our Lagos Network Center. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Ruth, and welcome to Lagos. Namansi has returned to Okiodo Market along Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway following the fight which broke out between two load carriers. Contrary to speculations that the fight was a trade dispute, Dr. Ogunyemi, who visited the market, reports that 2 persons were allegedly killed while several others have been hospitalized.
The atmosphere in Araromi Market, Okiodo, is still tense. Heavy security presence is not the only thing that is noticeable in the area in the last 24 hours. But commercial activities have also resumed. Traders cautiously welcome the attention the market is getting and use the opportunity to call on government to address security concerns. Many regret the circumstances, but hope a reoccurrence will be prevented.
There should be an avenue whereby that will foster love, peace and unity, and also at the Katangwa areas at that dump site, information has gotten to the entire community that we have strange faces there now.
One underlying factor in all the reactions was the presence of this dump site.
The problem is now we have so many hoodlums here now that you cannot even control.
Most of the people you see around me say they have come to this part of Lagos and they are in Araromi market to make a living for themselves and not to cause trouble. But with recent happenings in this market, market leaders and traders as well are calling for a review of the presence of this dump site very close to the market.
Various strategies need to be adopted to bring a permanent solution to the crisis.
The market, which is a business hub for the major ethnic groups in Nigeria, is currently undergoing infrastructural upgrading to eradicate the menace of street trading. In Lagos, Dotun Ukmiemi, NTA News.
The provision of adequate capital to the development of the agricultural value chain will help stimulate economic growth and address issues of unemployment as well as alleviate poverty. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo stated this at a forum in Lagos titled Managing Credit for Economic Growth. Abolade Salami reports.
Nigeria, with an estimated 78.5 million hectares of farmland for cultivation, is only operating on just about 30 million hectares for farming purposes. To fully tap the economic benefits of the agricultural sector, various issues ranging from credit availability, storage process, and policies were highlighted as crucial.
Agriculture is the way to go. Yes, agriculture must be the centerpiece of our economy. But you say how lack of credit can hurt the sector. It is lack of credit is already hurting the sector.
Interest-free loans, in some orders, very long gestation period, very long tenor of funding. Those are the kind of things we need to put together and faithfully implement in Nigeria if we want agriculture to play the kind of role.
The management of credit for economic growth, various speakers submitted, will serve as a catalyst to spur growth in the real sector of the economy.
There is need for transparency from all stakeholders in the economy. As for credit managers, we need to show more of diligence. We shouldn't contribute to credit failure in our own way.
Towards addressing the issue of non-performing loans, the need for the Apex Bank to come up with a policy statement that would drive credit securing system for deposit money banks and customers who default payments was also suggested. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has sworn in 9 new permanent secretaries into the state public service with a charge on them to contribute to the ongoing efforts by his administration to build a modern smart city for the benefits of residents and visitors. Nusa Osula has details.
The governor urged the appointees to align their actions with the overall policy objectives of his administration, which include selfless service, inclusive governance, and deployment of best global practices in service delivery.
Some of them, I'm seeing them for the very first time in my life. And what it means is that you do not need to see the governor. You do not need to know the governor for your work to speak for you.
Governor Sanwo-Olu also called on the new appointees to add value to governance and contribute to the realization of its short, medium, and long-term plans.
You have taken a oath of office and of secrecy to continue to ensure that the very best is what we get in Lagos State. The very best is what the citizens that we have also sworn into to serve are going to be getting from you.
In his vote of assurance on behalf of the new appointees, the newly appointed permanent secretary in the Ministry of Transportation, Wale Musa, thanked the governor for finding them worthy to serve the state in the highest capacity in the public service, assuring that they would hit the ground running to contribute to the development of the state. In Lagos, Nosa Osula, NTA News.
As the federal government focuses more attention on addressing the plight of internally displaced persons in Nigeria, there is a clamor for governments to revisit the agreement ceding Bakassi Peninsula to Cameroon. This is in anticipation of tackling the infrastructural needs of the Bakassi returnees in the resettlement areas. It's 13 years since the Green Tree Agreement was signed by Nigeria and Cameroon, which formally laid to rest the over 100 years border dispute between the two countries and ceded the oil-rich peninsula to Cameroon. Located between the Cross River Bay near the city of Calabar, Bakassi is home to over 300,000 inhabitants, out of which 100,000 were not willing to reside under the Cameroonian authority. The spread across internally displaced camps in Nigeria. Incheng Immaculate has seen it all. She's one of the refugees from Cameroon who had to cope with the hardship and pains of residing there. She is now living a new life, courtesy of the IDP camp provided by the federal government, but a hard bliss for thousands of people who are refugees in their homeland.
My mom called me last week and she told me things are not moving well. That is still really, really rough.
I thank the Refugee Commission here in Nigeria because they're trying to see that I should pick up something doing.
A former member of the National Assembly, Senator Florence Itagiwa, is from Bakassi local government.
Let Nigeria go and revisit that Green Tree Agreement. Let Nigeria go and develop that area that we have found, that we can be there because it's suitable to our way of life. We are fishermen, we like that place. And then we want military presence in that Day Spring area because the pirates go there, carry all their fishes.
Stakeholders believe the Green Tree Agreement and its innovative approach to conflict resolution was the product of sacrifice, which should be compensated with the provision of adequate infrastructure for residents and refugees of Bakassi. That's a contribution from Lagos. Nationwide continues with Ruth in Abuja.
Thank you, Michael. Now, in view of contemporary judicial systems built around information communication technology, the judiciary in Nigeria is building the capacity of its staff to measure up and facilitate effective justice delivery in the country. One of such attempts is a 3-day workshop for ICT staff drawn from the various states of the Federation at the National Judicial Institute, Abuja. Onange Fineface reports.
Justice delivery in any society, it is said, involves the services of several judicial officers and support service personnel who assist in filing and serving court processes and other sundry activities. Performing these tasks manually could be cumbersome and time-consuming, but with the deployment of ICT, the service delivery is facilitated. It is in recognition of this that Ayeni Emmanuel Temitope, a staff of the Sokoto State High Court, is at the National Judicial Institute, Abuja, alongside colleagues from other states of the Federation who are being trained on the use of information communication technology, ICT, for effective justice administration in Nigeria.
We're in a digital world. Anything we're supposed to be doing supposed to be online, and we should be straightforward in what we are doing.
By the end of this training, our mindset would have changed or moved from doing things manually to computerized way.
The training is in conformity with the Enabling Act of the National Judicial Institute to continuously educate judicial officers and support staff in the country.
This workshop is structured not only to broaden your knowledge, but it is also packaged to enhance your productivity and efficiency towards a better administration of justice.
Like Ayeni, participants at the training look forward to practical sessions on ICT to boost their capacity in the discharge of their duties. In Abuja, Onengiye Fineface, NTA News.
Anti-corruption officials from 12 African Commonwealth countries are joining forces to fight illicit financial activities through a training that will build capacity for strategic management of anti-corruption agencies. This is with a view to promoting economic growth and stimulating investment to improve the living standards of citizens in member states. Aliyu Tukur reports.
Africa's potentials is said to be hampered by corruption, which decreases a third of the GDP, put at $380 in GDP per capita. To reverse the trend, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, in collaboration with the Commonwealth Africa Anti-Corruption Center, is training personnel from some Commonwealth Africa member states to come up with strategies that will improve the capacity of anti-corruption agencies to deliver in their mandate of fighting the menace, especially with organized criminals, devising sophisticated means of perpetrating crimes.
The task of fighting corruption is not only Herculean, but it's also sophisticated. To be successful, anti-corruption agencies must also stay ahead of these criminal groups.
It's better to prevent people from having opportunity to be corrupt than chasing thieves.
No country can aspire its best if it allows corruption to cloud it.
And Shirley Benyet is a participant from Mauritius Independent Commission Against Corruption, one of the 12 countries participating in the training. To her, if the continent is to fight the menace, there is need for attitudinal change and inculcating of sound morals in youth.
We have a whole unit dedicated and focused on how to prevent, how to make the education, because education starts at school. So we have very good programs for the youth, since primary school to tertiary education students.
We have to up our game in terms of tracing of those assets, because you cannot recover what you have traced.
The 5 days training is also providing a platform for the likes of Anne to share knowledge and experience that will lead to curbing corruption in Africa.
Time to take a breather. Nationwide continues shortly. Stay with us.
The Nigerian national flag is a sacred national symbol. It is a mark of patriotism and a show of love for our nation to fly the national flag correctly, in the right colors, right dimension, and in the right sizes for each occasion. In recent times, it has been noticed that government offices, corporate organizations, banks, embassies, and other notable institutions fly faded, shredded, and haggard-looking versions of the national flag. This is wrong and must stop. It has also been noticed that some citizens prefer to popularize the national flag of other nations. Fellow countrymen and women, let us be patriotic. Come, let us show love for our motherland. Fly the correct versions of our national flag in all relevant places. Be patriotic. Be proud ambassadors of our great country.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Community policing in the face of insecurity in Nigeria is the thrust this week on NTA Tuesday Live. The program every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. promises to be educative and incisive. Don't miss it.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
Get the latest news and updates from across Nigeria on NTA Nationwide. NTA Nationwide, weekdays by 4 p.m. Get it first. Get it fresh.
Thank you for staying tuned. The The Imo State government is soon to commence payment of pensions to retired state workers. To this end, the verification exercise of beneficiaries has commenced in Owerri, the Imo State capital. Loretta Egwim reports that Governor Emeka Ihedioha visited the center to ascertain the level of success so far recorded.
Governor Emeka Ihedioha, who expressed satisfaction on the extent of work done by the pension verification team, appealed to the pensioners in the state to exercise patience with his administration, as the exercise will, among other things, ensure accurate calculation of pensioners' benefits.
It was important to verify those who are going to pay. I appreciate the patience that our pensioners have displayed over the period.
Also speaking, the chairman, Nigerian Labour Congress Imo State, Comrade Austin Chilapu, wants the biometric data capturing and the payment of pensioners be made simultaneously.
We are definitely impressed over what is happening. Can be impressed, and we hope that they will continue with this speed. Maybe not slow, maybe not too, but so far, as far as I'm concerned, so good.
The leader of the pension verification team, Pascal Madu, noted that the ultimate goal of the exercise, which commenced on 22nd of July 2019, is to ensure regular payment of pensioners. He noted that 13,513 out of the estimated 30,000 files of pensioners have so far been treated. The pension verification team is expected to treat files of Imo pensioners since the creation of the state in 1976. In Owerri, Loretta Egwim, NTA News.
The NNPC, in line with its resolve on transparency and accountability, has announced winners of its 2019-2020 direct sale of crude oil and direct purchase of petroleum products arrangement. A release by the corporation's Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division, Indu Uhamadu, says after the completion of the 2019-2020 DSDP tender exercise, 15 companies made up of international companies and Nigerian downstream companies emerged successfully to undertake the 2019-2020 DSDP arrangement. The one-year contract is effective from 1st of October 2019 to 30th of September 2020. Under the DSDP arrangement, the 15 companies shall, over the contract period, offtake crude oil and in return deliver corresponding petroleum products of equivalent value to NNPC, subject to the terms of the agreement. Enugu State Government inaugurates Steering Committee on Federal Government Agri Projects. Chinenye Fesi Okoye will tell us more in our Enugu Network Center. Hello, Chinenye.
Thank you, Ruth. Good evening and welcome to Enugu Network Center. To enhance agricultural productivity of small and medium-scale farmers in the country, the federal government World Bank-assisted program, Agro-Processing Agricultural Productivity Enhancement and Livelihood Improvement Support Appeals Projects, has been designed to achieve this goal in the participating states. Inaugurating the appeals project in Enugu State, the state governor, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, lauded the economic benefits of the program and charged the steering and technical committees to hit the ground running. Susan Eze has details.
The appeals project has the development objective of enhancing the productivity of smallholder farmers and improving value addition along the priority value chain. Since agriculture is a major priority for the Enugu State government, the governor, who was represented by the deputy Cecilia Ezilo, stated that the state will harness all opportunities provided by the appeals program to boost food production and create more jobs for the youths in the state.
The program has 5 components, focusing on food security, local agricultural production, job creation, economic diversification, and improvement in household incomes and standard of living.
The state project coordinator, the World Bank focal person, and the State Ministry of Agriculture all gave insight into the technicalities of the program and the roles of the committees towards ensuring alignment of the project with the state's policy and development programs.
We promote only 3 value chains of rice, cashew, and poultry, and each of their respective segments of production.
The event featured presentation of the project implementation documents. The Agro-Processing, Agricultural Productivity Enhancement and Livelihood Improvement Support Appeals Project is being implemented in 6 states of the Federation. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA.
A non-governmental pressure group, the Enugu West People's Parliament, has lent its voice to that of other well-meaning Nigerians in condemning the attack on Senator Ike Ekweremadu by IPOB youth in Nuremberg, Germany over the weekend. Correspondent Mina Bakassi tells us more.
The attack on Senator Ike Ekweremadu, which happened over the weekend at Nuremberg, Germany, upon invitation as special guest to the 2nd Annual Cultural Festival and Convention organized by Ndibo in Germany, has been described as a global embarrassment.
Let us also use this medium to appreciate all concerned Nigerians for rising in their numbers to condemn this act of brazen hooliganism.
Chairman Ohaneze Ndibo, Enugu branch, also bared his mind over the unfortunate incident.
We have to go take a grassroots approach so that the national level will have a way of advising their constituents.
Fielding questions from journalists, the group stated that law enforcement agencies should be allowed to follow due process in fishing out the culprits. Lending their voices to the issue on ground, Honorable Izunna Ume Okeke, leader Enugu West Youths, called on aggrieved groups to come home and join hands with them in championing the cause of the Igbo emancipation, rather than towing the path of violence and causing national disgrace to the Igbo nation.
This is not the way for us to go forward. If they want to do or they want to fight for Igbo cause, they should come down to Nigeria and see what's on the ground.
According to the spokesperson, the press briefing was an offshoot of the general meeting of the Enugu State People's Parliament held recently. In Enugu, Mina Bakassi, NTA News.
In an effort to win the fight against insurgency in the country with the necessary support of President Muhammadu Buhari, the Nigerian Army 82 Division Garrison in Enugu has flagged off Inter-Brigade Combat Proficiency Competition 2019. Comfort Ayim reports that a 10-kilometer run kicked off the annual event held at Ababa Cantonment, Enugu.
The 52 participating officers, 13 each post, were drawn from 4 different formations: 13 Brigade, 14, 34 artillery brigades from Ahafia, Calabar, Owerri, and 82 Division Garrison, Ababa Cantonment, Enugu. The 10-kilometer run kicked off from Akanibiam International Airport, Johnson, back to the venue of the event in less than 1 hour. 23 minutes, with thorough inspection to ensure they returned the same way they left. Chief Judge of the event, Colonel Sunday Ilori, announced the results. 13 Brigade, who got 100 points, clinched the first position with no fault. Second position went to 14 Brigade, while 34 Artillery Brigade came third. The fourth position went to 82 Division Garrison, who returned in 1 hour 23 minutes with 40 points. The special guest of honor, Chief of Staff, Brigadier General Clement Apere, who represented the GOC, said the training is timely following spate of crime in the country in recent times.
In order to maintain a professionally responsive Nigerian Army in the discharge of its constitutional role, it requires that personnel must be trained and tested to ascertain their level of combat readiness.
Commander 82 Division Garrison said training is an essential component of the strategy to win any war.
For the participants, I wish you a successful engagement in your efforts to demonstrate integrity, courage, knowledge, endurance.
Commissioner of Police, Enugu State Command, Suleiman Balarabe, was among other security agents who witnessed the event. Meanwhile, the 4-day training continues Tuesday in Owerri to end Thursday. In Enugu, Comfort Ayim, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Enugu. Is back to Ruth in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Thank you, Chinyere. Following reports making the rounds in some media outlets, it is necessary to state categorically that the chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Babatunde Fowler, is not under any investigation. The letter from the Chief of Staff to the President, Abba Kyari, on which the purported rumor of an investigation is based, merely raises concern over the negative run of the tax revenue collection. In recent times, in a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, says, taking a cue from today's presentation of Vice President Professor Yemi Oshibajo at the presidential retreat for ministers-designate, federal permanent secretaries and top government functionaries, which dwelled on an overview of the policies, Programs and Project Audit Committee, a body he chaired, projected revenue of government falls behind recurrent expenditure, even without having factored in capital expenditure. Consequently, it would appear that the country might be heading for a fiscal crisis if urgent steps are not taken to halt the negative trends in target setting and target realization in tax revenue. Anyone conversant with Federal Executive Council deliberations would have observed that issues bordering on revenue form the number one concern of what Nigeria faces today, and therefore often take a prime place in discussions of the body. It is noteworthy and highly commendable that under this administration, the number of taxable adults has increased from 10 million to 20 million, with concerted efforts still ongoing to bring a lot more into the tax net. Humanitarian workers all over the world are celebrating the heroes of humanity who paid the supreme price in the course of discharging humanitarian services across the globe. In Nigeria, the celebration is focusing on better ways to protect humanitarian workers in the course of duties. Correspondent Ilyasu Ali Yakubu reports that the 2019 celebration has as its theme celebrating women humanitarians.
Available records by the United Nations indicates that the humanitarian crisis directly affects more than 140 million people in 37 countries of the world, and more than 65 million of these people have been displaced from their homes as a result of violent conflicts, civil wars, and natural disasters. The women who form a larger percentage of these humanitarian services risk losing their lives all the time. As a result, many have been killed and others traumatized. Malama Asma Ulio is a humanitarian worker and global ambassador for peace and humanity for more than 20 years. She shared her experiences on the good, the bad, and the ugly while discharging her duties as a humanitarian worker.
We have so much problem all over the world. Nigeria is not left out of these global issues, especially in terms of humanitarian crisis. So I believe each and every one of us has something to offer so that we can cope the humanitarian crisis that we are encountering right now in Nigeria, especially in northeastern part of Nigeria, where I come from.
This symposium is to mark the 2019 Humanitarian Day, and there is a unanimous case for proactive efforts to protect the humanitarian worker, especially the women. The Humanitarian Day continues to recognize the sufferings of millions of civilians caught in conflicts, particularly women and children who struggle to find food and shelter for their survival. In Abuja, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
Kudos to all the humanitarians making sacrifices daily. Now, Felicia Dallop is in our Just Network Center with more reports on Nationwide. Felicia, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you, Ruth. Welcome to JOS. 44 persons allegedly involved in various acts of kidnapping, armed robbery, and cult-related crimes have been arrested by the Plateau State Police Command. Commissioner of Police Plateau State, Isaac Akimoyede, in a media briefing said firearms, live ammunition, and other dangerous weapons were recovered in the process. Kim Godds has the details.
The suspects were arrested across 17 local government areas of the state after a painstaking analysis of information and intelligence gathered by the detectives of the command. Commissioner of Police, Plateau State Command, Isaac Akimoyede, said 11 notorious kidnapped suspects were arrested after sweeping raids of hideouts, noting Jos South, Bakiladi, and Mangu local government areas as their areas of operation.
The hoodlums also abandoned a sack containing 3 AK-47 rifles and 3 free-loaded magazines, each loaded with 30 rounds. In addition, there were 22 rounds of 7.62 mm caliber ammunition. That's for the AK-47. And of course, face mask was also found in the bag.
The Commissioner of Police also made known the arrest of 3 cult-related suspects involved in the killing of one Chinedu Okoye at Chobe Junction in Jos North. Military uniforms, English pistol loaded with live ammunition, 2 stolen vehicles were also recovered from 4 notorious armed suspects. Isaac Akim-Moide commended the people for timely and useful information which led to the command's success. In Jos, Kim Godds, NTA News.
The need for Nigerian women in leadership positions to always show exemplary life in their homes and the nation was the central message at the 5th National Convention of the Sisters Fellowship of the Church of the Brethren in Nigeria. Cameron Kanengladoja has the details.
For the Sisters Fellowship, it is a period to reflect on how to move the fellowship forward despite the challenges in the world. A change in attitude towards hospitality, education of women, the need to support each other, especially those in leadership positions, as well as speaking up against gender-based violence were issues raised.
God, the gardener, is expecting godly fruit from his plantation, which we are.
For when we refuse to be light in the darkness, in the darkened world, and fail to be salt in a rotten society, we are not bearing fruit.
We need to look for a venue whereby we can create safe space for a young child, for women to speak out their problems so that we can support them.
Guest speaker, Mrs. Grace Atson, who says women have different roles to play in the development of the country and must strive to remain in Christ. The annual National Convention of the Sisters Fellowship of the Church of the Brethren in Nigeria drew women from over 25 district church councils, DCCs of the EYN from different states in the country. In Jos, Ekemeren Kadengladoja, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Jos. We'll take a short break. Nationwide continues in Abuja with Ruth.
They are there at the crack of dawn. They are there busy preparing while we rise for our day. They are there silently, guarding, waiting, listening, and watching. They are there ready in the sky above and the waters below, in the blistering heat of the day, in the dead of night, willing, indefatigable, determined in the defense of the sovereignty of our country. They are our first line of defense and our last. They who have paid the ultimate price in defending us. They are fathers and uncles. They are mothers and sisters and girlfriends and boyfriends. They are brothers and cousins and best friends and neighbors. They are classmates, colleagues, and citizens of this nation. They are our defenders and deserve our respect, our prayers, our thoughts. Nigeria, please support our armed forces.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Good to have you there. President Muhammadu Buhari has felicitated with national female basketball team, the Tigresses, for a highly impressive outing at the FIBA Women's Afro-Basket 2019 in Dakar, Senegal, that saw them coasting home to victory at the finals, winning the host 60-55. A statement issued by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, says the President congratulates the Tigresses for a remarkably synergized play that enabled them to outpace and outplay all the teams at the tournament to retain the title they won in 2017, further consolidating their position as African champions with 4 titles. The president commends the team for discipline, maturity and focus all through the tournament and deliberateness in promoting the Nigerian flag and accompanying virtues of resilience, persistence and dogged pursuit until victory was achieved. President Buhari sends appreciation to all the officials and technical hands that guided the team to win the African title, urging them to remain focused in deploying such energy and talent in subsequent global tournaments. Up next are sports updates with Olumide Eguntola.